Welcome, football fans. Buckle up for another hard-hitting episode of Let's Talk XFL, the only podcast solely focused on the XFL. From a sunny Southwest Florida studio, here's your host, Michael Lathrop.
Hello, football fans. This is episode 21, Pro Days and Trademarks. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Royal Retros by 503 Sports. Royal Retros are the king of throwbacks. Royal Retros by 503 Sports provides a line of merchandise from legendary defunct leagues such as the XFL 1.0. If you've always wanted to get yourself a quality Las Vegas Outlaws He Hate Me or Los Angeles Extreme Tommy Maddox jersey, perhaps even an OG XFL's team's t-shirt, we have you covered. Simply click on the link provided in the show's description and notes and enter the code LETSTALKXFL at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase. This week there is not a lot of exciting news to cover. However, there are a few XFL developments that are worthy of discussing. I'm not going to delay any further, so let's get to it. Back on February 12th, there was a status update to the DC Defenders trademark. It currently states response after non-final action. This status is unlike the others that I have recently discussed. The others typically state second extension granted. I researched the meaning of the response after final action, and according to trademarkbank.com, the status means the examining attorney has received a response by the applicant to a non-final office action. The examining attorney has 6 months from the date of filing of the response by the applicant before the examining attorney must respond with a final action or move the application to the next phase towards registration. Then, processing of the trademark was updated on March 22nd to final refusal prior issues not completely resolved and has an estimated response deadline of September 22nd of 2022. My interpretation of the DC Defenders trademark is that there is a possible issue with the Defenders name. Essentially, it is still pending, and we are awaiting a decision. Hence the non-final action and then the final refusal prior issues not completely resolved statuses. If you think about it, this somewhat makes sense. The XFL were likely waiting to see what the National Football League's Washington Commanders announced as its new nickname back on February 2nd. Once they officially made the Commanders their new namesake, then the XFL proceeded to secure the DC Defenders trademarks. Trademarks can be a lengthy process, hence its pending status. Despite sources, I believe the XFL intend on resurrecting the DC Defenders for the 2023 season. But I must say, I cannot see the XFL waiting till late September to announce its cities and teams. Perhaps the XFL will announce cities and wait on team nicknames before then. Or, possible the XFL is preparing another nickname for a team in DC. Then, on March 6th, the Houston Roughnecks trademarks were extended. Before I proceed, I must give a shout out to Andy Gonzalez for bringing this to my attention. If you tuned into last week's episode, you know where I stand on these trademark extensions and updates. Now the Houston Roughnecks join the list of the Dallas Renegades, Los Angeles Wildcats, New York Guardians, Seattle Dragons, and the St. Louis Battlehawks of trademark updates. Upon my research, as well as others, the DC Defenders and Tampa Bay Vipers have not been renewed in any capacity. Then on March 23rd, UConn Football's executive director, Pat Collins, confirmed the attendance of XFL scouts at the football program's Pro Day, which later was confirmed to be David Dykman via his Twitter account. Also on the same day, XFL Director of College and Pro Relations, CJ Cavazos, and XFL's Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Mark Ross, tweeted their attendance at the Ohio State Pro Day. Speaking of the Ohio State Pro Day, a surprising participant was involved. Former DC Defenders quarterback Cardale Jones was slinging passes to the hopeful prospects in front of the National Football League and XFL scouts. When asked about his involvement in his alums pro day, Jones said, and I quote, "Yeah, still looking to get out there. Hopefully it happens this year, but if not, I know the XFL is coming back next year. If it don't happen next year, then I'll be officially done with it. But it's a thin line, because a lot of my focus right now is on the NIL world and helping the athletes of Ohio, particularly Ohio State, capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. But, I mean, my dream and goal is to still play professional football." End quote. When asked if he felt his performance tossing the football could still give him a chance to play, Jones responded, and I quote, "For sure. Still, as always, things to work on though. So, hopefully, this gives a bit of an opportunity for me to come in one of these organizations and have a workout or battle for a spot in camp." End quote. In addition to those comments from Jones, the 29-year-old did a segment with Rapid Reaction. Here is the clip.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. This is Rapid Reaction. It is brought to you by Byers Auto. It was Ohio State Pro Day. Friend of Letterman Rowe, national champion,
something like that,
CEO of the foundation,
oh man,
Cardale Jones, and an active participant in his pro day. It's been 6 years since yours, Cardale. Does it feel like that, first of all?
First of all, I don't. But don't. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay,
but
sure.
No, it was cool. Being out there and throwing to some of these guys that have some live legs in those guys, and CJ with that unbelievable arm. It was pretty cool.
When did who approached you? Was it Coach Day about doing this?
No, actually, right after the Rose Bowl, I asked Coach Mick and his guys and the staff for an opportunity to throw a pro day.
Okay.
Clearly, they're still chasing professional leagues, and they said they more than welcome to, and kind of jumped on that opportunity.
I know you've been doing a lot of training, and to have an opportunity again like this, I mean, obviously you're always welcome in this building.
Yeah.
But maybe not everybody will want. CJ was here. He could have thrown. He wanted some of the spotlight. Just to have that opportunity, what did that mean to you, and what do you think you did with it?
Oh, trust me, he had the spotlight. That guy, he's really good at what he do, and throwing to Garrett and Olave. I mean, they had it all. I mean, I was just happy to be up close and personal and watching those guys. But it was cool to have an opportunity to perform in front of some of the NFL coaches and scouts, and hopefully it spark a conversation or a discussion, and hopefully to an opportunity.
Yeah, what other opportunities do you think you still? I mean, you have so much going on.
Yeah.
How are you even still finding time to get ready for football like this?
My mornings usually consist of, me, personal training and things like that. And then the rest of the day is usually the NIL world and with the foundation and then 10 talents. Trying to find a happy medium to compartmentalize it all and still having, my number one dream and goal is chasing, playing professional ball.
To be back out here and have a crowd again and the scouts and people watching you closely, you got that one opportunity taken away with COVID a couple of years ago, so it's been a while since you've maybe had that in a competitive environment.
Yeah.
Did that part feel natural to you? Did you have nerves coming back out here today?
Honestly, the first couple was a little nerves. I think I skidded an out ball or something like that, but it kind of was like riding a bike.
Yeah.
You kind of get back used to it and, start having some conversation with guys, laughing about things and stuff like that. So it was definitely in the beginning a little like jitters, but it kind of settled down towards the middle and then finished strong.
You have such a unique perspective because you'd obviously been through your own. You've been on campus and seen some of your teammates go through it. You've been through pro days before. You have a second sort of stab at it. Plus, you're probably wanting to see what maybe Olave and Wilson are like out there and standing next to C.J. Stroud. The perspective to be back in it. What did you see from those guys?
Exactly what we all seen through their careers and C.J.'s short career last year when his first start. I mean, guys that are explosive, that can run any route. I mean, my main thing going into this pro day is I was excited to see Chris because, we think of Chris as a deep ball threat. And he ran some routes that, some big boy routes that's not just always about the deep ball. And he looked extremely comfortable and extremely good at it. So I'm excited for both of those guys at the next level. And then, standing next to CJ as he throwing the ball, you hear that thing coming off his hands.
Yeah.
So definitely impressed with all three of those guys.
We talked, a lot last season about the mandatory toughness and everything that comes along with playing that position. He's out here in just shorts and a T-shirt next to you. How much do you learn about another quarterback in that environment?
his competitiveness, I mean, even if it was a good ball, got to drop it, bad ball, got to drop it, whatever the case may be, he wanted to be perfect. And, I mean, he didn't have to, show his arm strength today. Everybody knows how strong already got. He rolled it right and pulled up and threw, I think, the ball 70 yards in the air. And one he didn't connect on. He wanted to go again, but we we got to save those guys' legs. But such a competitor. And he's smart. He's not a guy that when he's going through just throwing routes, he's not just staring down the receiver. He's actually, you can tell he's going through a progression.
Yeah.
And if it's a play action or if it's, hey, backside of a read, and he's always moving. So that's one thing that, it's cool to get a chance to see how he really, how all the work that he do translate on Saturdays.
The competitive fire seemed to come out of Ryan Day as well, because I think that script got ripped up at some point.
Pretty much. I think so as well. I know the script that me and the guys worked on got ripped up, and then I'm like, let's go. I'm like, we got to go with the flow at this point, which was good. I think that was a nice curveball he threw in there because things don't always go as planned.
Did you want to not run the 40 and do some bench again, too? Like the full...
You guys missed it. I mean, on this field right here, I told him the field was a little crappy, so I probably would have dropped a 4.42.
4.42, yeah.
Yeah, a little bad field. On a good field, maybe 4.13,
yeah.
Depending on how my back is.
That sounds right. I mean,
yeah, and then the bench, it was slippery, so I didn't want to get on there. I was probably going to hit about 32 reps or 225, stuff like that. So I was just saving it. All
right, that's good. It was... Ohio State Pro Day. Cardale Jones was back for that. Had a great time watching him throw the football again, see what happens for him. C.J. Stroud, there's two guys out here that you wouldn't have expected. It's supposed to be about Garrett and Chris, and it's the current quarterback and the old quarterback getting all the publicity.
Yeah, well, C.J., Garrett, those guys, they were on fire. So.
All right, it was a fun day in here at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. This was Rapid Reaction. It's brought to you by Byers Auto. He, of course, is Cardale Jones. I'm just Austin Ward. Stay with us for full coverage of Ohio State all year at LettermanRow.com.
I wanted to share this Rapid Reaction audio clip because it helps to provide understanding of how his involvement came about, as well as where he is at football-wise. If you would like to Google footage from Ohio State's Pro Day, you will see Jones' reps, and he looked good. I am not sure that his involvement will open the door for another National Football League opportunity. However, seeing that C.J. Cavazos and Mark Ross were in attendance, as well as his relationship with Doug Whaley, I can potentially see him making a return to the XFL in 2023. And lastly, on March 24th, David Dykeman attended the University of Massachusetts Pro Day. C.J. Cavazos attended Boston College Pro Day, and Doug Whaley attended the University of Pittsburgh's Pro Day. Seeing the continued effort in the scouting department has me feeling good about the XFL's preparation for the Players' Combine in June. All good things must come to an end. This concludes another episode of Let's Talk XFL. As always, I am interested in receiving your feedback. So do not be a stranger. Reach out to let me know your thoughts, and if you do so, your comments might just make it on the show. But before you go, do not forget to subscribe and rate the show on your platform of choice. One last thing. If you're interested in checking out our friends over at Royal Retros by 503 Sports, do not forget to click on the link in the show's description and notes, as well as that sweet code, LETSTALKXFL, for 10% off your purchase. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Don't forget to subscribe and rate Let's Talk XFL on your platform of choice. Follow Let's Talk XFL on Facebook and Twitter at Let's Talk XFL. Do you have a question or topic you would like to have addressed on the show? Message the show via social media or send an email to letstalkxfl@gmail.com.